So today talking about the product strategy, which in fact will be 3 minutes about product strategy and 27 minutes about AI, which I think is a very cool topic to talk about, but it's not, of course, not everything we do at CoreMedia. So there's still a lot of elements that we are talking, where we are investing in, right? Oli, for example, gave a brilliant demo. The demo is really something that's in the product. So we have been investing in integrating Engagement Cloud and Content Cloud, right? So it's really actively integrated, and it's not no demo mock-up. It really works as Oli is presenting currently. So when I'll be talking about product focus, product strategy, it's always about what do we do in Content Cloud, what do we do in Engagement Cloud, because of course it's well integrated right now. And what are the areas, especially for Content Cloud, we still talk about unburdening customers. We still get feedback that upgrades are complicated, are expensive. We get requests from customers to move to our AWS. Of course, with US partners, we are fully supporting on-premise installations also for the next coming years for Content Cloud. For Engagement Cloud, we are moving in a different direction. We are moving away from private cloud, and we move it onto AWS. I think in September, October timeframe, we'll have the first customers on AWS, and then a year later, we have migrated everybody to AWS for Engagement Cloud. We will continue to develop the UI, UX. We've done already quite some work. As you can see, it even with Engagement Cloud and Content Cloud, you see it's nicely integrated, use the same color schemes, it works nicely together. We will continue to invest in that. Where, of course, now with AI coming, there might be more of a disruption into the UI, because with AI you have different options, right? We don't still know all the options that we have, but there's different possibilities, and it might change a little bit how we look at UI and UX. In both platforms, we're going to continue in APIs, especially Engagement Cloud needs to be more open, especially to work with partners. We are continuing to open up Engagement Cloud. Up till now, we've done a lot of development with our own professional services team, but we really do see the need to work with partners and have partners do integrations with us, so we will invest over there. For Content Cloud, it's really important that we start delivering customization APIs. This basically means that we move out customizations that you have built as partners out of the standard product in order for us to do easier upgrades. So we will continue to invest in the API layer as well. Then going to the main topic, AI. Right, so as Søren was presenting this morning, so what we have currently built is the AI foundation. We're not going to build our own LLMs, but we're using all the LLMs available and connecting to them. But we also, of course, data, we have other systems that we connect to. But as you see, while having that foundation, we have like almost endless possible use cases. And I'm also inviting you as partners to work together with us and customers to see which use cases really work. I will come back to that throughout the entire presentation. I will show you some use cases where we see that already works, which could be very valuable for customers. Right, but also about let's teaming up. Then on AI, there's some stuff we need to take into account. I was listening to Søren this morning about stupidity and all this kind of stuff, and then I was thinking yesterday, I got really angry with somebody because I didn't have an online portal. And because I remember when in 2004, I worked at Vodafone, and then my CEO said, Roy, we're going to put everything online. Yeah, no, is that, what do you mean? Yeah, the bill needs to be online, healthcare needs to be online. So my ideal call center is one person, which is the call center director, and the rest should be empty. That didn't really happen. But what I do see is that yesterday we needed to do something, and then I needed to go to the website, download the form, fill it in by hand, make a picture of it, and send it back. I said, I'm not going to do that. I refuse. So my girlfriend said, call them. I'm not going to call them and just get into a big fight with them, because it's just not what we do. The same I see with AI, right? So AI in the future, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, will do lots of stuff where we have no clue right now. So that's also very, very important to start engaging in it, start trying things, failing in things, and be successful in other things, right? So that's really important, especially also the massive, overwhelming number of AI tools that are out there, and which one to choose, which one to start with. It's like if you try to grasp it all, you get lost, right? So we need to really figure out what we're going to do. And as said, we only see the tip of the iceberg. right? So it's just a very small piece of what we see. And I think if you're 10 years from now, you look back, you can never imagine that all the stuff we will have done with AI, that it would have been possible when you think about it right now. So it will evolve. We have unlimited number of use cases. What we do see, and that's proven, the LLMs, AI technology gets better every release. Yeah? ChatGPT 3 versus 4 versus 5, 6, 7 in the future, it really grows and really gets better very quickly. That's something we have to anticipate. The thing, of course, is that we are really looking at, and that's also where we need your help and your customers' help, so does it actually work? Right? Is the technology far enough to have a use case that really works and really helps customers? That's something we still need to look at. Coming back to what we are up to at CoreMedia. So last year, we talked about AI and how to engage. So up till 6 months ago, we really used for Content Cloud, our feedback hub, and we integrated different technologies. So Wonk AI, OpenAI, DeepL, Google Translate, all the kinds of tools we integrated via our feedback hub. So not natively into the product, because we first want to understand what kind of use cases are there, do things really work, instead of just diving into all the stuff that would be possible. By doing that, we already got editorial assistant, search engine optimization, and automated translation, but it was not natively integrated. So I think half a year ago, we really started with natively integrating stuff. But again, so many use cases, where do you really start? Right? So what we came up with CoreMedia is, let's look at a different approach. We have lots of ideas, right? And then I think the approach is to go from an idea to a demo, to a trial with a customer and a partner, and to the product, right? Because if you want to build all your ideas directly in the product, first of all, you don't know whether they really work. And second of all, it's extremely expensive to build things in the product, right? So what we try, and that's also where I would like to engage with you and your customers, is to look at the ideas. Can we build a demo together? Can we do a trial together with the customer? See if it really works, if it adds the value, and if it then adds the value, we build it robustly into the product. So that's our CoreMedia approach. We have been doing and we're sticking to. But then we were talking about AI in CoreMedia and talk about, okay, where do we have it? So we have multiple AI elements, and we talk about the co-pilot, AI assistant, and then we start stumbling on words and what do we mean exactly. So we decided to give it a name, right? Because if you look at what we currently have, where you can really encounter AI in CoreMedia, it is, for example, in Studio, in the new Studio version, you will see, for example, a button. Right? It is the button. So if you see this button, it will trigger an LLM. It will trigger AI in CoreMedia. The other element where you will see encounter AI is AI being a co-pilot. There will be some demo use cases where I show we have an agent operator working, and then the co-pilot is sitting next to it helping the agent. So that's the co-pilot. But then we also have processes that run in the background. So in this case, we drew a ninja. It's not going to kill you, but it's there doing things. So for example, for Engagement Cloud, what Oli was showing, it is like it can do it. There can be a call with a customer, and then in the background, it listens in, it translates the call, it summarizes the call, it rates it like it's a sales call, all this kind of stuff. So that's on the background. So certainly there's also AI happening. So what we decided was to give it a name, right, and try to bring it all together. So they're all coming together and we call it Kio. Right? So everywhere where you see Kio, it is our CoreMedia AI on the different levels. So you'll see buttons, you'll see a co-pilot. Everywhere you see Kio. So what I'll be presenting right now is we have 3 use cases that we already have. And what I will do is explain the use cases, also what kind of stage they are in, and what the next stage is. Right, I show the process of going from an idea to a product. I need to be transparent on where it is, because sometimes use cases don't work, and we just throw them away and we do something else, right? So there's a more iterative, agile approach to this. So the first use case is metadata management. There are use cases that you can just build in the product, because it's just very clear. So, tagging of articles, tagging of pictures, is something the LLM can do very well. And Kio can do that very well, so you can do that in the product. So this use case is about tagging data, tagging articles in Studio. We use ChatGPT-4 for that. It is in product development, and it will be released in the next V12 release or one release later. But within the next 3 to 6 months, it will be there. So what does it look like? So it is basically very simple. We have Studio, as Oli was also showing, and we have buttons, as I showed previously, and it does the following. So we have the article on the right side, and it will generate 3 keywords, right? So it's like you click on it, on the button, you ask it to create 3 keywords, and it starts calculating their Kio, and here it creates 3 keywords. But you can have a conversation with Kio, say, give me better ones, and then you get better ones, right? So that's the nice thing. You can have conversations, you can improve the outcome of Kio. Of course, we can do that for one, but you can also do that for multiple. So you go to the library, get multiple articles, and you click at the button and say generate all, and then it generates, Kio generates all of that, right? So very simple use case, but also very use case that really automates tedious work that editors don't want to do, right? So this is the obvious thing. I think if you don't have this in your product, it's probably an issue because editors don't want to do this kind of tedious, almost like stupid work, right? So that's something we can easily automate and also something that customers can really use immediately. Then we have another one, which is called the Kio Toolkit, which is a far more sophisticated application of AI of Kio, right? So this is one we do for CoreMedia Experience Platform, so both products, for Engagement Cloud and Content Cloud. It uses ChatGPT-4. It is a customer trial, so we're currently trialing this with customers. And the next stage is that we would like more customers to work with us on this thing. So the Kio Toolkit, I need to explain a little bit more what it does, because I think it's the most powerful AI application that we can do. And it has most options. And also there again, it would be really great to work with you as partners and see, okay, where can we collaborate on this one? So what you see on the left side here, it is Kio, it is the UI that you have, right? So you have your prompt, you have conversations with Kio. On the right side, you see the systems that you want Kio to have access to, right? So it can be, for example, CoreMedia documentation. It can be third-party systems like Salesforce, SharePoint, well, you name it, right? It can be a Jira, whatever you want, right? We have a demo with the documentation, Jira, content. And of course, we also have Content Cloud over here and Engagement Cloud over here, right? So we're going to give Kio access to those. So over here, we have trained Kio to know exactly how Content Cloud works, and Kio knows how Engagement Cloud works. What we've also done is we've trained Kio on how Jira works, on how our documentation works, right? So you could ask if you can train Kio like how does Salesforce work. By doing that, you can then start asking questions, and it knows where to go. So you don't need to program. If you talk about content, it knows it needs to go to Content Cloud. If you talk about campaigns, it knows you need to go to Engagement Cloud. You don't need to tell it that. It knows that. It can reason. It can make decisions for you, right? I will show you later on in the demo. This is really strong. You don't need to train anything. That's also where our developers were a little bit flabbergasted because they're used to, like, if I get this kind of question, I need to go there. If I get this kind of question, I need to go there to program that. But you don't need to program. You just need to ask for the outcome, and Kio knows where to go. Very strong one. But you can also imagine how powerful it is because this is unlimited. You can access so many systems. You can train so many systems. And train, I mean explain how the system works, not give it all the data. Right? You don't need to give it all the data. Data stays in these systems. Because also our experience with Kio, large language models, is that it always gives you an answer. And it always gives you the answer that it thinks is the best. It can also be a lie, by the way. If it thinks the best lie, it will also give you the best lie. So that's why we connect it to systems where there's facts. So the fact system, so Kio is only uses the brain, and it uses the system where the facts are in. Right? So if you talk about sales opportunities, customer value, the fact is in Salesforce. So Kio will go to Salesforce and figure out this customer has this kind of customer value. If you don't do that, it will also give you value, but the value it thinks it's right. So this makes it really strong. So if I go to the demo, so very simple, right? You have prompt. So you can ask it, what's my job for today? When it sees job for today, it knows my jobs are in Jira. So it's the same thing, it goes to Jira and it says you have a task to localize something for the Spanish market. Right? It knows that. Then you can say, show me existing content. When you talk about content, it knows it needs to go to Content Cloud. Right? And it starts listing Content Cloud articles. This is directly coming from Content Cloud. So from Jira to Content Cloud. And then you can ask it, like, how do I localize content? So how does Content Cloud work? Because you don't know. So how Content Cloud works, it goes to the Content Cloud documentation, it knows, and then it's saying, this is how you publish that. Then you can say, okay, give me the content. I think it's going to ask now for SEO keywords. So then it takes the content, right? And then Kio on the right side is calculating the right keywords for the document. As you can see, it takes a little bit of time, like with ChatGPT, right? I think that's something that will be solved in the future, is already being solved, that it's faster. And then you get this. But then the cool thing comes after this, is you can apply the change. You can just insert it into the content management system. And you can just do things. Kio is not retrieving data, it can also work via the APIs and really do stuff. So you can just have this kind of content. It can create an article, it create content for you in the content management system just via this prompt. And then we have use case 3, and we call it the operator assistant for Kio. So this is a telecoms use case. We have it in Engagement Cloud. Oli was also sharing that, how you can have chat conversations. So what we've done now is, next to the chat conversation, we have also added Kio to do, to help out, to be an assistant, to be a co-pilot, sitting next to the person, right? This is the demo version. I think it's almost ready to be in the product, and we're looking for a customer to work with this and try this. So let me explain a little bit how it works. So we have John. John is the operator. He's a call center agent sitting there having a chat conversation with Emma. The moment Emma logs in, so Emma's over here, John's over here, this is the chat window, right? As you saw, we can do co-browsing, all this kind of stuff, but we can also do Kio, which is the chat assistant, right? This is the AI assistant Kio. So the moment Emma dials in, you see Kio knows, hey, you're talking to Emma. Emma visited the website more than 5 times in the last days, and Kio also has an opinion about her mood. So normally a nervous person. I don't know how we came up with that, but it's like that. So then Kio says, okay, I'm here to help you. So let's see. So in the middle, you have a chat with Emma. So typical stuff, how can I help you? Says hello. And then on the right side, you see already Kio doing a mood analysis in real time. So Emma seems to be happy. And also, I'm low on data. The moment she types, I'm low on data, Kio understands, let's give her a product offer. Let's give her more data, right? That's on the right side. Yeah. So then John selects the 500B, and then it automatically goes here. So it's integrated into a chatbot, and it works like that. And then she said, sounds perfect, and then, Emma seems to be happy, right? So that also, again, it analyzes the mood and does things. Then the next thing is also, you can have a chat with Kio, right? So you do not only have a chat with Emma, you can also have a chat with Kio and say, okay, what should I answer? How should I continue this conversation? And Kio will come up with kind of ideas of things you can say to Emma. Yeah, so it's not only Emma you talk to, you can also have a conversation with Kio, like with every LLM, you can have conversations and you can improve stuff. Yeah. So what we do here is we do like a check on the account. Typically telecom operators do that, right? They ask you for an account number, something to really validate whether you're the customer that you are. Of course, you don't officially need that because you have the data. But by doing that, you can also say, okay, and then it does this subscription change, and you add 500 MB to the subscription, right? When you close the call then, it can also make a summary of the call, as Ollie also showed, right? So first of all, Emma seems happy again, but also the conversation has been classified as a sale, and this product has been sold, which again will be stored in Engagement Cloud to do analysis on, right? So this is, I said, Kio helping as a co-pilot. So these are 3 practical use cases where we really try to help out. What we also strongly believe is that, and this is a little bit animation over here. So now, we have a pilot and we have Kio as the co-pilot. We strongly believe that in the future, more actions, more activities will move as Kio being the pilot. So for example, the tagging of articles, right? So if Kio does that 100 times, other 100 times correct, you can say, don't bother me, always do this, right? So that's where you first were looking at Kio, can it do it in the right way? After 100 times, you say, it always does it correct, do it, right? So, and you start off with these smaller use cases where you move Kio from being the co-pilot to the pilot. And it starts with the simple use cases, and I believe that in 5 to 10 years, it can also do very complex use cases. If you look currently at avatars, for example, a more complicated could be like making an appointment, right? So Kio can perfectly make an appointment, right? So, and it's not something where you spend valuable human time on. Human time you want to really spend on giving customers the best user experience, right? And really on the edge where AI cannot do it. But that edge where what AI cannot do, that will get smaller and smaller and smaller. And so that's what we do. So, and I think for all the 3 use cases, we can always automate and make Kio go from being the co-pilot to be the pilot. Yeah. So my next request is, well, let's team up if you can find joint customers to start working on joint use cases, because there's like a multitude of use cases we can do. We already do the tagging, the Studio Assistant we can do Kio A/B testing that Ollie also showed, analytics, content variants. So there's a lot of AI stuff that we can do, especially with the toolbox, Kio toolbox. The ideas are unlimited, but for me it's really important. Let's take the last one. Does Kio really help the operator, or does he annoy the operator all the time because he's continuous in his face and he doesn't add any value? You can only see that if you do that with a real conversation and with a real customer, right? So there's a lot of ideas that we have, but we can only validate if it works with a real customer. So let's team up. If you want to, what you can do is make a picture of this, and there's a QR code, and with the QR code, you can you go to a page, and there you can say with which kind of use cases do we want to team up. But you can also contact anyone of the CoreMedia team, say, hey, we want to do something together, that's also fine. But we also have the official AI survey where you can go to. So yeah, really great. We also got quite some enthusiasm yesterday from customers to really start with simple use cases, right? So we don't need to boil the ocean, we don't need to put a man on the moon. Give you an example, we have a customer called John Deere, big one, right? And they said, hey, can Kio help users and explain how Studio works? Yeah, okay, let's start with that one. It's a simple one, right? So then we connect their documentation to Kio, and Kio you can have discussions with Kio and get links on how things work, right? Very simple one, but they start off with that, and then we grow from there, right? So I think it's really interesting. But I think the most important part on AI is that you need to start, try things, and we are really willing to help and see together with us, see if things work, see if things don't work, and try to bring right things together, especially for our joint customers. That was my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.